All right, Tesla update here on the 22nd. So I gave you 3 options in the last video. I think you can pretty much narrow this down to 2 options from here. And I think they're both bearish. Based on the earnings were absolutely terrible. I didn't see the guidance from Musk. I didn't follow the earnings call. But there isn't really that much he can do to pump up the stock. I mean, he could talk about robotics, he could talk about FSD, but what else is he going to say that's going to pump the stock? I think this move is more about options than anything. I think that, killing shorts, there were some calls bought at the end of the day, weekly calls. I think they're 240 calls maybe, right at the end of the day. Not the end of the day. One of these is the end of the day. I forgot which one it was. But anyway, you can pretty much get rid of the scenario we go up here to 290 to 300, I think, at this point, because that was a chance for the stock to pump. What is this going to pump on now? So I gave you 3 scenarios. The most bullish one was 280 to 315, and we didn't get that pump on earnings. The other 2 are bearish, but they're pretty much bullish short term, meaning this was an impulse. This pullback, I guess, is a B wave, assuming that we start here at 250. And so the triangle makes a lot of sense here. This makes a lot of sense here. Come up here to like maybe 255, 260, and then get 5 waves down to finish off the 5th wave. The other one is that we're in the diagonal. Showed in the last video, this retraced to the 0.78 fib. And if we go up here to 256, 257, maybe even 262, that's the 0.78 fib. So we're going to be right around that area tomorrow, more than likely. Let's actually look at where the 1.61 fib is at. So 257 is very likely, I think. And for either scenario, the diagonal or the triangle, it makes a lot of sense. So ABC, 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 and then we get ABC down like that, or 5 waves down here, and then we get ABC, and then 5 waves down. So not a lot of chances for this to go much higher, I don't think. And also you have the 20 DMA up there as well, right around 254. So I'll actually be surprised if this finishes above the 20 DMA. And that would actually be pretty bullish if it could finish above the 20 DMA. I would say, if I'm predicting this, I would say 257, finish below the 20 DMA, and that would be very bearish to me. So pretty much, I think you can narrow this down to a triangle or a diagonal down. Where would I start becoming bullish and say the other option is possible? If it can break above the 1.61 fib tomorrow, if it can break above 257.50 tomorrow, then I would say this has a chance of being a 5-wave move, going up here farther. But I don't give it very good odds. I saw them also selling a lot of 250 calls for, I think, the 2nd of May, early in the day. Let's see where that's at. So let me pull this up here. Okay, 2nd of May, early in the day. 240 calls. Where's the 250 calls at? It was 516. Here you go. This was early in the day. 250 calls. Look how much they sold. They sold about 18 million in calls for 250, 516 expiration. They're selling cover calls at 250. That's another reason why I think there's probably going to be a wall around that area. So putting it all together, the triangle makes a lot of sense. The diagonal makes a lot of sense. And I'd be surprised if this breaks above 257 or 258 tomorrow. I'd be surprised if it gets above this area right here. So I'd be looking to potentially short tomorrow if the IV comes down. I think this is more of a short squeeze / they had some bullish options as well for the 25th. So I think it's a short-term move, and I think you're going to see more downward pressure on the stock over the next month or two. And I still think the 145 gap is still in play, and I think it's probably going to hit. So we'll see if I'm right about that, but that is the analysis for today. Again, the overall picture. This could be 5 waves down here all the way to 145. And then after that, we should be going to all-time highs. That's it for this video. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I'll catch you in the next video.